I'm going to start this video just how I'm going to end it off. I want you to keep an open mind as I take you down the rabbit hole. And I would love to know your thoughts. Quanell, did he pull a rabbit out of the hat? Did he wave a magic wand? Or is there more to this? And ultimately, Maleah being found is the most important thing. But also, justice.
So they didn't mess with it, and that was 2 or 3 days ago.
We heard that HPD has already been in Arkansas for a few days.
Houston, not Arkansas, Houston police was in the same spot searching on Tuesday.
This morning I was able to meet with Mr. Vance. We had a long conversation. One thing he wanted to make clear to me, what happened to Maleah was an accident, and he confessed to me where he dumped her body.
And what did he say happened?
I don't want to go into that. It's in Arkansas.
How did he get there? Did he travel in a vehicle in the Nissan
In a vehicle. It was in a car. He was in a car. He said that he pulled over in Arkansas, got out of the car, walked off the side of the road, and dumped her body off the side of the road.
How were you able to get him to reveal this information?
2 men talking.
How were you able to get in during non-visitation hours?
Excuse me.
How were you able to get into the jail during non-visitation
People
hours?
visit all the time, and I was able to get in.
How long has she been in Arkansas?
I'm not sure. I'm not, but it was early on. He confessed to me.
Derion Vence is still not cooperating.
He confessed to me.
Talking to YouTuber iCkEdMeL of
YouTube's iCkEdMel, interviewer Melvin Cedeno.
With YouTuber Melvin Cedeno, his YouTube channel.
The iCkEdMeL YouTube channel run by Melvin Cedeno.
What's up, it's iCkEdMeL, and I honestly don't even know how to start this video. I got a bunch of messages, I had missed calls. My heart has been like on pause today. It's just been nuts. Tomorrow I'm doing a really interesting interview from somebody that runs one of the biggest groups on Facebook, and there's just so many places to go, right? Like, how did Quanell get this interview? Quanell was on Brittany's side, and then he went against her, and then he went to Derion. How did he get the visitation rights? Because the reporter was asking, did he have any rights to visit this person? There's something else that Blessed Model told me today. She said that the attorney now, whoever Derion has, asked the judge for Quanell not to be able to speak to Derion, almost like a restraining order, which blew my mind. The other thing too, which you might have seen in the community tab, somebody that's affiliated with Brittany, I spoke to this person last night. I promised them confidentiality as far as our conversation, but I got a text after, and I'm going to show you part of this text in which why it was like very spooky to me. And what this person said to me is that, and also that detectives told her that Derion had likely taken her out of state. So either detectives really told this to Brittany, or Brittany was putting up a front and she didn't want to let that person know that she actually knew that the body was taken out of state. It's just very interesting, everything coming into context literally the next day that Maleah is found in another state. So I wanted to pause here for a second. Most media outlets aren't telling you. Thank you to Blessed Model. We were on the phone going back and forth. The thing with Quanell, right? Does he have some sort of magical ability? What, one day or something, this guy goes there in the morning and all of a sudden he gets this guy, Derion, to confess? Check it out, because we need to take a deeper look, not just on the surface, but deeper from what everybody else is telling us. Friday morning, Vence's attorney, Derion, filed a motion prohibiting Quanell from visiting Vence after learning that the family's former representative had beat him to the Harris County Jail. Generally, that jail does not allow inmate visits on Fridays except for lawyers, ministers, and sometimes community leaders. We know Quanell X as a community leader. Harris County Sheriff spokesman said, when a community leader visits an inmate, we generally allow it as long as the inmate agrees to the visit. Quanell X claims, right, that he visited Vence, which Cutler, which is the new attorney, says happened around 9 a.m. on Friday, garnered the supposed confession, right? Quanell X completely misled my client, Cutler said. I don't know how he was able to get into that jail. He said he was going to provide lawyers and that everything was going to be fine. Cutler added the details that Quanell X alleged to have learned from Vence. He said it didn't happen, okay? My client did not confess to Quanell. He did not use the word accident with Quanell, Cutler said. I'm not sure why the DA's office and Texas EquiSearch are giving validity to anything Quanell says. Quanell makes his living off of reward money. Skipping to the next part, Burton also said that when he represented Vence, he told him not to speak to anyone. Burton also questioned Quanell X's role in the case, right? This guy's been flip-flopping. He's been kind of an interesting character. Quanell X seems to know more than the police, or he seems to be leading the media. It certainly appears he's attempting to practice law without a license, Burton said. And that was some of the previous lawsuits that I heard about involving Quanell. Quanell also told Vence he was going to be representing him. So here's another interesting part. Vence was under the impression that his family had sent Quanell X after Burton withdrew and Quanell X was taking over the representation. In a phone call, Quanell X said he was not representing Vence or the family. He said he wanted to see Vence in jail because he wanted to, and he felt like he needed to. So this is the craziest part of the video, and you're gonna have to listen. Follow along, okay? I'm not saying Derion's innocent. Maleah being found is amazing. That is one of the most important things, but I also want to make sure that the right people are held accountable. Quanell magically got this confession, to which they disagree. The lawyer saying didn't happen. And I spoke to somebody, Blessed Model. She's been doing research. Happy birthday to you, by the way. She said that she's heard that cops were actually at that location prior, days ago. And it's interesting if you heard the story about the people that were there a couple days ago and they ran into the body, but they didn't realize that it was a dead body. And then today, magically, somebody with a machine device, lawn mowing device, rolls over the body and causes it to...
That a litter crew found a garbage bag covered in blood in worms 12 miles south. It was there 3 days and accidentally hit by mowers before investigators got there.
Isn't that interesting? But what about this? What if cops really were there a couple days ago? What if this ties in to just getting somebody charged? Listen to this audio that a friend of mine sent me. It's her telling me about this, and I thought she was crazy. We were going back and forth until I found this audio on Twitter. And if you guys can find more audio or evidence about police being there days prior to, not just on Friday where everything was magically found, send it to me.
We heard that HPD has already been in Arkansas for a few days. Is that correct? And how did you...
That's not correct.
We heard that HPD has already been in Arkansas for a few days.
The police, I forgot if I mentioned, the police coming back to me, the police, the police, what she was saying, was down there searching on Tuesday. Okay, Tuesday gone. Houston police. Hey, Houston, not Arkansas. Houston police was in the same spot searching on Tuesday with this group. Houston police. All right? Was down in Arkansas at the same spot. Okay? Fox News was the first people that broke this today. Who is paying X? Who's X affiliated with? Is it not Fox News? Yeah? So what they're saying is, more likely the police found this body from these people. Yeah? From this, what do you call it? The road clearers found the body. The police were there anyway searching. Obviously it's theory, and told them. Yeah. And then Fox was the first one that played it out this morning. They were. And obviously they've pulled Mr. Quinn to make out.
People were telling me about this earlier today in the community tab. People were calling me, messaging me, emailing me, and I found it hard to believe until I looked at the article and the news clip myself, where they actually saw, or they found her body several days ago in a bag. There was like this cleanup crew, these people that maintain the area, but they just ignored it. And then this morning, they had some sort of lawn mowing device, and they run over it, or they hit the decomposing body of this child, which sends parts flying in a small area, or in some of the parts, like the articles of clothing, which is just like, bruh. Like, she's not only gotten failed while she was alive, But while she's dead in the afterlife, her remains, if this truly is Maleah, which I really think this is, and you guys can comment down below, do you believe this is? I think it is.
There are some personal effects that lead us to believe that it is Maleah.
But even in the afterlife, with her physical body, not spiritual, but physical, still being filled, until literally this guy, Derion, if we're to believe that's what we're being told, that he confessed and pointed out the body. Literally on the side of the road, decomposing. You got people cleaning up around her. You got people running a lawnmower over her. And it takes somebody to point it out? Wow.
Sheriff, can you tell us a little bit about how the remains were found? We understand they were inside a bag.
Correct. A couple of days ago, a road crew that cleans and mows the interstate was working this area, and the people charged with picking up trash came through and noticed a black trash bag sitting on the side of the road with a foul odor in it. Well, in this area, a lot of people put dead animals, dead dogs, things in trash cans and dispose of them improperly. So they didn't mess with it, and that was 2 or 3 days ago.
We heard that HPD has already been in Arkansas for a few days.
Houston, not Arkansas, Houston police was in the same spot searching on Tuesday.
And then the mowers came through this morning and apparently hit the bag, and whatever was in the bag that we believe to be human remains was scattered over a small area. Have found a couple of articles of clothing. That's about it right now.
We want to find out if it's one person that's responsible for her death or if it's 4 or 5.
What's up? So it's iCkEdMeL, my afterthoughts after spending hours and hours and hours on this. I just want to say thank you to everybody that reached out to me, that sent me links. I didn't want to go down the conspiracy theory route, but there's some documentation that the defense lawyer and some of the things that are going behind the scenes that I can't tell you guys, that there's certain people saying this didn't happen, that Quanell didn't pull a magic card, some magic tricks today, a rabbit out of a hat, and get this guy to confess. And if you've seen the multiple videos that I put, then later on they're saying he's not cooperating. If he's not cooperating later on in the day, why would he cooperate in the first place, unless that was a lie? You know, a lot of the things don't add up, and that's why I put this video together, to ask those questions, because I want all the people responsible to be held accountable. You know, it's really interesting how deep this goes, the rabbit hole. If we follow into Derion's story where he confessed today, right? Let's say he did confess. Why would he do it after a month long? A lot of people called me up, they said it doesn't add up. You know, it doesn't make sense, right? Is this all coincidence? Quanell breaks up with Brittany, then aligns himself with Derion, and in one day, within a couple of hours before he has another attorney, he confesses. Now, one of the theories that some people were telling me is that Quanell might have been smart. He might have slipped in there, lied, pretended to be a lawyer, which I've heard he's done in the past, lied to people about that. That's why he has some of the lawsuits, allegedly. Maybe got some sort of confession out of him, but when people confess, and from what I've seen for a long time, is that they're supposed to sign some papers. Is there a paper, a written confession? Is there some audio? One of the remarks that I saw Quanell make earlier in the day was he said that it was a confession. Confessions are always 100%.
Many men have confessed these type of crimes to me, and involving children. And Texas Tech Research and I work together on similar situations like this. And the confession is always proven to be true.
Bro, go do a Google search. Go find out how many people have made false confessions, right? Cops don't need to tell you the truth. A lot of people crack and fall under that. They bring you into an interrogation room. They can lie to you. It's not against all. They can lie to you. Oh, we found fingerprints. We found DNA. They can lie to you. And I'm not saying that's the case for Derion, but I'm addressing the whole issue where he's like, it's a confession and it's 100%. And people on the jury sometimes, they fall for that and like, oh, that's it. You know, it's circumstantial stuff, but they just, oh, he confessed. There's been a lot of kids that have given false confessions. There have been a lot of people that were, the cops will purposely put you there for 8-10 hours, not give you food, no drinks. There was somebody recently in a jail that passed away because they didn't give him water for days. He dehydrated. So I'm just saying that there's some things in the system that are so corrupt and disgusting. So for him to say, oh, a confession is 100%, bro, that's BS. Do they think that we as a public we're just going to accept this as open and shut. Oh, they caught him. Oh, he confessed. Well, that's it. I don't think so. I don't think none of us are done. A lot of this is suspicious, and a lot of people around the world want accountability and justice. And some of the video I made earlier today, and a lot of the video I made late in the night, so excuse me for how I look. And one of the things that stood out to me is from when I heard that these people ran into the body days ago, and they were like, oh, it must be an animal, which I've heard human decomposition is a smell that smells like nothing else. I've never smelled it, but I heard it's, and I've heard from other people's accounts, you can tell the difference between an animal and a human. So you mean to tell me these people that were just cleaning up, right? They bumped into it, and then magically on the day that Quanell, right? Magically the day that Quanell gets the confession, somebody runs over it with the machine, and they're flying out there and they got the exact location. And these reporters that are asking, I need to find more video footage. Send me the video footage if you guys know, but these reporters asking, we heard reports that there was HPD, Houston PD, out in Arkansas days ago, and the guy denied it. Well, where did they come up with that accusation? It was just out of thin air? Oh, I just heard it. I don't know, right? Where did that come out of? So, Derion's lawyer, I think, definitely needs to see this. Bless, thank you for sending me a lot of these clips. And like I said, I'm not saying he's innocent. I'm painting a whole different picture that maybe you guys might not see. And to really start asking the questions and start holding the officials accountable for what they're saying they're doing. Quanell and Tim Miller, they're affiliated. I saw them hugging today. They're still working for years.
You know, I've worked with Quanell for several cases before. I flew him to Oklahoma on a case. He worked the Sylvester cases. He worked many cases. You know, everybody may not agree with all his methods, but when it comes to this, I'm going to tell you something. He has brought closure to many families.
A lot of these people are affiliated. Quanell and Fox, if you look and you saw the video, they're affiliated too. Somehow they're affiliated. And if you notice, I don't know if you noticed, Quanell got the first interview with Brittany on Fox, right? What do they call it? Quid pro quo, right? Tit for tat. I rub your back, you rub mine. You think that was just coincidence that he got them the first exclusive interview over everybody else and he's affiliated with them? You know what I'm saying? So comment below, let me know your thoughts. I'm going to start this video just how I'm going to end it off. I want you to keep an open mind as I take you down the rabbit hole. And I would love to know your thoughts. Quanell, did he pull a rabbit out of the hat? Did he wave a magic wand? Or is there more to this? And ultimately, Maleah being found is the most important thing, but also justice.